यशोदानन्दन व्रजगण यशोदानन्दन व्रजगण रञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचार कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we welcome all of you for this class on duplicity, part 2, value class for students of VIHE. So we'll start with a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 20, verse number 19. Okay, thank you for sharing. Canto 8, Chapter 20, verse number 19. You can refer it on the screen or on your individual books or devices. So chapter name is Bali Maharaj Surrenders the Universe. Shloka. Tada Surendram Divi Devata Gana Gandharva Vidyadhara Siddha Charana Tat Karma Sarve Api Grananta Arjavam Prashuna Varshair Vavarshur Mudan Vita. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. At that time, the residents of the higher planetary system, namely the demigods, the Gandharvas, the Vidyadharas, the Siddhas, and the Charanas, all being very pleased by Bali Maharaj's simple, non-duplicitous act, praised his qualities and showered upon him millions of flowers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Arjavam, simplicity or freedom from duplicity, is a qualification of a Brahmana and a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava automatically acquires all the qualities of a Brahmana. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunes tatra samasate sura. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12. A Vaishnava should possess the Brahmanical qualities such as Satya, Shama, Dama, Titiksha, and Arjava. There cannot be any duplicity in the character of a Vaishnava. When Bali Maharaj acted with unflinching faith and devotion unto the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, this was very much appreciated by all the residents of the higher planetary system. Okay, I'll just step out. There is some noise outside my door. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Om Agyan Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So in part 1 of our class on duplicity, we heard from Bhagavad Gita that one who is mithyachari, false behavior. Mithya means false, chari, acharan is behavior. So one who is mithyachari, a pretender, is rejected for the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. Somebody whose inside is not equal to outside. Inside, he is hoping to come in contact with sense objects. And outside, he is showing to follow the process of bhakti for the purpose of pulling his inside ambitions or claiming to be something more than what he is in spiritual status. That's duplicity, that's kapat, that's cheating, that's mithyachar, that's hypocrite, that's pretender. And we discussed the example of Chota Haridas, whom Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu denied to provide his darshan and association and mercy because in the form of a sannyasi, he went and begged rice from an elderly Mataji for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used him to teach us that even such an example is not acceptable. What to speak about somebody in sannyas ashram or renounced ashram, brahmachari ashram, trying to illicitly come in contact with intimate contact with woman. So duplicity is unacceptable behavior. We need to be honest. We don't want bachelor daddies. We want honest practitioners. So continuing from there, today we will touch some more aspects of duplicity, especially in relation to other devotees in our community, in our preaching, and also when we are making an offering to Krishna. So in this verse, we see Bali Maharaj has offered everything, including his body, to Lord Vamandev. And when he does that, the demigods, the Vidyadharas and Gandharvas and Charanas and Siddhaloka and all the other sages, they appreciate and praise his offering to Lord Vamandev, especially because it is a simple, non-duplicitous offering. So everything already belongs to Lord Vamandev. And Bali Maharaj forcibly took it from Indra. Now when he returned back to Vamandev, even Indra and other demigods are praising him. If somebody by force takes something from you and finally returns back, you will still be upset with him. That on first former, why did he take? If he had not taken, all this would not have happened. But still the demigods are appreciating because he offered to Lord Vamandev, which anyway belongs to Lord Vamandev, with some genuine feelings in the heart. He didn't offer to Vamandev superficially. He didn't offer to Vamandev with some ulterior motive in his heart. He didn't offer to Vamandev out of fear of Lord Vamandev. He didn't offer to Vamandev out of show that let me show to the whole assembly that I am a great charitable personality. He didn't do with any such ambition. He just made a simple offering to Lord Vamandev out of his attraction and attachment to Lord Vishnu, which he has received in association of Prahlad Maharaj. So that is an offering without duplicity. When a salesman comes to offer you some proposal to sell his product, he appears and claims to be our well-wisher, giving us something of good, useful utility, giving us something good value for money, claiming to be giving discount. कि आपके लिए तो हम कम प्राइस दे रहे हैं, I am giving less price for you. But we all know his internal inside is he wants some profit from us. We all know. It is superficial being a well-wisher. Is not a genuine well-wisher. So when we are serving Krishna, we should not be a person like a salesman or business-minded or fearful or doing it by force. It should be a genuine offering to Krishna, and Krishna is pleased. Even if the external performance of devotional service is not great, and which is not compared to other great devotees, we sadhakas, is our chanting so great, our reading, hearing so great, our arti so great, our preaching so great as compared to the great souls mentioned in Bhagavatam or Mahajanas or Acharyas. But still, if it is done without any motivation, without any duplicity, inside is equal to outside, honestly making an offering to Krishna, then Krishna is pleased with us. If a young girl, a daughter, sees the mother is not well, and she tries to serve the mother by doing some small cooking or offering medicines or massaging her legs, and she does it completely improperly. She doesn't know how to cook. She puts more salt. She doesn't know how to provide medicine or massage legs. She doesn't does it nicely. But she genuinely wants to serve the mother. The mother will be highly pleased. The mother will be pleased because she is sincere, honest. There is no duplicity. Whereas somebody does first-class cooking and first-class massage, serving some mother or father or some elder with a clear desire in the heart to receive something. Of course, parents are always happy with the children, but in general, that offering is not considered very pleasant. Somebody comes and offers obeisances to you with a genuine desire to receive blessings and appreciating and respecting your spiritual status is very different when somebody comes offers obeisances to pass their business proposal or to pass their materially motivated idea or to support their political ambitions. Somebody touches feet even in politics. One leader touches feet of another leader. But we know that's not genuine because tomorrow they may become enemies. So making an offering to Krishna genuinely is appreciated by these demigods. And here they are showering millions of flowers on Bali Maharaj's simplicity. Bali Maharaj rejected his own spiritual master Shukracharya, and with no remorse in his heart, with no other thought in his heart, he offered everything to Vamandev, including his own body. In fact, this very sincerity of Bali Maharaj, Arjavam, that's the quality of a Brahmana in 18th chapter Bhagavad Gita, and that's the quality of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava should be so simple that even if enemy comes, he is ready to speak the facts as it is. Simple, so that people are happy to meet him, talk to him, approach him. Simple and straightforward dealings. Our dealings are not simple, people will have doubt on us. Something is hidden. So Lord Brahma, he implores and prays to Krishna that why you have arrested Bali Maharaj. Please release him, because he has served you without duplicity. May I request to share verse, same canto, canto 8, chapter 22, verse 23. Chapter 22, verse 23. Okay, thank you. Would somebody volunteer to read it, please? Yes, please go ahead, Mataji. I see one hand raised. Ambika Mataji, you want to read? Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
With purport, yeah.
Just a purport?
No, whole thing, whole.
Okay. Yat Padayor Asat Ahi Sali Lam Pradaya Durvangurai Api Vidya Satim Saparayam Apyutam Mam Gatim Asau Bhajate Triklokim Tasvan Avikla Vamana Gatha Artim Richet. By offering even water, newly grown grass, or flower buds at your lotus feet, those who maintain no mental duplicity can achieve the most exalted position within the spiritual world. This Bali Maharaj, without duplicity, has now offered everything in the three worlds. How then can he deserve to suffer so from arrest? And the purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.26 it is stated, Patram puspam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tat aham yuparitam asnami prayatat manaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is so kind that if an unsophisticated person with devotion and without duplicity offers at the lotus feet of the Lord a little water, a flower, a fruit, or a leaf, the Lord accepts it. Then the devotee is promoted to Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. Brahma knew the Lord's attention to this subject and requested that he release Bali Maharaj, who was suffering, being bound by the ropes of Varuna, and who had already given everything including the three worlds and whatever he possessed.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So Lord Brahma is highlighting that if, my dear Lord, highlighting to Lord Vamandev, that if somebody even does a little offering, patram pushpam phalam toyam, without duplicity, you reward him. You accept that offering done with love. And here is Bali Maharaj who has done such a big offering. But that big is not something attractive to the Lord, because for him, what is big? One planet is part of insignificant part of a big gigantic universe, which is an insignificant universe coming out of pores of Mahavishnu. So the offering is done, big offering, so-called big offering is done without duplicity, and that's what Brahma is imploring. That's why Brahma is requesting the Lord that you have arrested Bali Maharaj, who has done an offering without duplicity. You are pleased even with a meager offering without duplicity. So now why to arrest him? Like a child offering to the parent without duplicity. If somebody with a motive in the heart meets us to ask us, how are you every day? We will not be so pleased. For somebody without motive in the heart, with a genuine well-wishing concern, ask us, how are you? We'll be happy to respond to that. So making an offering to the Lord, it may be dedicating our life, or it may be offering arti or a mango or milk with a desire to please the Lord is a genuine offering. But an offering of a Mayavadi thinking that I will do deity worship, then I will merge, or this deity is just an idol, is a duplicate offering. Or making an offering with a motive, material motive, is not a great offering. Nevertheless, anybody who starts bhakti, they don't start immediately on Uttama Bhakti platform. So they are requested to continue. But as we are progressing, we should understand that we have to give our life to Krishna with a desire, with an exclusive desire to please Krishna. Then Krishna is pleased, satisfied. In Nectar of Instruction, which I will request to share now, Nectar of Instruction verse 5, Srila Prabhupada writes that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will not read the full verse, there is a paragraph which I would like to read, but I can't see such a small screen. Does it end there, or is it more purport? So there's a place where Prabhupada talks about 64 rounds. I'm sorry, I can't locate because my device is very small. Anybody has bigger, easy to read? Highlight that paragraph. Yeah, somebody can read that.
In this Krishna consciousness, it is the paragraph?
Yeah, this paragraph.
In this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, or color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasada, and hear about Krishna. When we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the elders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances should be offered unto him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, counting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna conscious movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as the Uttama Adhikari, a highly advanced devotee. and his association should always be sought.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. I'm so sorry, I was not referring to this paragraph. This is good instruction for some next class. There is a paragraph talking about 64 rounds. Or maybe I'll open a book. Somebody could locate. Yeah, 64 rounds. Can I request somebody to read that paragraph? You can read in between. Yeah, this paragraph somebody can read. 64 rounds.
You want me to read, Prabhuji, starting with one whose whole paragraph, Prabhuji?
Yeah, go ahead.
So one whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform as a first-class devotee. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage. But if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinam, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttama Adhikari. The Krishna consciousness movement prescribed 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on beats. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 names, is considered fallen. According to his calculation, practically every one of us is fallen because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity. We can expect the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavan, the deliverer of the fallen.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, once he gathered his devotees and told that unless one is Lakhapati, one will not receive the mercy of Lord Krishna. Lakhpati. So the devotees were surprised. Lakhpati generally means having 1 lakh rupees. And at that time, nobody had 1 lakh rupees or even 1,000 rupees. So they said, we are not Lakhpatis. We don't have so much money. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed and he said, Lakhpati doesn't mean having 1 lakh rupees or more. Lakhpati means if you are every day chanting 1 lakh holy names, 100,000 holy names, 1 lakh is 100,000, then your offering to Krishna will be accepted. Then you will be accepted as a devotee. Then you will receive the mercy of Krishna. That is the standard. 1 lakh holy name is equivalent to 64 rounds, almost 64 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who would request his devotees to chant minimum 64 rounds every day. And in Gaudiya Math, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also requested that unless you chant 64 rounds, you are patita, you are fallen, and your cooking and your offering will not be accepted by the deity. So Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON, when he preached in Western countries, he spoke about 64 rounds, but he saw the Western disciples would not be able to make it. So step by step, mercifully, he came to 16 rounds. And herein he writes that 16 rounds means we are fallen. But still we can hope to receive mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu if we chant these 16 rounds without duplicity. In other words, the 48 rounds is substituted by being without duplicity, by being simplicity, by being simple. That's our offering to Lord Krishna. That's our offering to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that I am doing this 16 rounds, I am doing this Mangala Arati, I am doing this reading, I am giving this class, I am leading this kirtan, I am doing this preaching, I am doing this book distribution without duplicity, without trying to come in contact with sense objects through the process of bhakti. without trying to claim myself to be a great devotee. So we should remember this. We are fallen even if we are chanting 16 rounds. We are fallen even if we are initiated and looked upon by others in the audience as seniors, because we are not chanting 64 rounds. But if we do it with straightforward simplicity in our heart, in our dealings, in our behavior, then we can hope to receive mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have a long story of how the Yadu dynasty was destroyed. After the Mahabharata war, when all the major kings were now cooperative with Yudhishthira Maharaj, Krishna was wondering that even though most of the asuras are killed, but still the burden on earth is not removed, because my own Yadu Vansh, my own Yadu dynasty, they are present on this earth planet and they are most powerful. Nobody can defeat them. And anything wrong can happen. Internally, Krishna wanted to wind up his pastimes and take all the Yadu ones back home, back to Godhead. So this Yadu dynasty also has to be shown to be killed, because suddenly they can't disappear from the planet. So death has to be shown, and how lakhs of millions of Yadu ones suddenly will die. So Krishna made a plan, and the seed of their destruction was in duplicity. So being inspired by Krishna, some of the children of Yaduvans, including Samba, they went to the sages, Vaishnavas, headed by Narad Muni, Vasishta, and Vishwadev, and so many other sages were there who came to Dwarka and performed yajnas and were very well received and welcomed and served. Great pure devotees, Mahatmas, Vaishnavas, Mahajans. So these boys, they just out of that childish behavior and joking, they made Samba wear female dress, sari and all. And they put something on his stomach and covered it with sari, as if this girl is pregnant. They were just making a childish prank. And they went to the assembly of the sages headed by Narad Muni. And with false humility and hiding their laughter, they paid obeisances to the Vaishnavas. And giggling and smiling, they said, "My dear sages, this girl here is pregnant and she wants to know the gender of her child. But she is very shy to ask you directly. So we have brought her here. Please tell us, in her womb, is it boy or girl?" So these children thought that these sages, they will not know our prank. They will think this is a girl and they will answer something, and then we will prove to them that they are wrong. But the sages are Trikaldarshi. They know these boys are playing prank and this is Samba in sari. He is not pregnant girl, he is a boy. So the sages became very angry. And they told, in his stomach is club of duplicity. There is an iron club which will destroy your whole dynasty. And the boys got afraid and they uncovered his stomach. They removed the sari and they saw a big iron club. That's club of duplicity. That's Vaishnava Aparadh. To give false presentation to other Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavas, to speak lies. So there's duplicit behavior, to present lies as truth, or to present half truth, or to twist the facts and present, thinking that he will not understand, he is a stupid person. I will present half truth and save myself and it's okay. So that was Iron Club. born out of their duplicit behavior and offense. And they became so afraid. They ran away from there and they went to Ugrasen and gave him the club and said, this has happened. Ugrasen also became afraid and all the assembly people also became afraid. Then Ugrasen arranged to make powder out of that club. They started making powder of that club, and they make so much powder and little piece of iron remained. They threw the powder and the piece of iron in the ocean, thinking that it will get dissolved and nothing will happen. But by the waves, that powder came back to a different place in the shore, and big grass was coming out in Prabhashetra with that iron. And that small piece of iron which was left was eaten by a fish which was caught by hunter Jara. And he got this piece of steel and he put it on his arrow, and that is the arrow he shot at the feet of Lord Krishna, and Krishna showed his Mausha Leela of disappearing through this arrow. And the Yadu Vansh, without weapons, they went to Prabhashetra to spend time in relaxation and religious activities, and there somehow they started fighting among themselves, and they pulled out this grass which has become very powerful due to that iron powder, and they started beating each other with that grass and canes and killed each other. So by the seed of duplicity, the whole Yadu dynasty was finished. By false behavior, we spoil our bhakti, we spoil our relationship with Krishna, we spoil our relationship with devotees. Nobody appreciates. In fact, duplicity is considered one of the anarthas. In Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 12, verse 135, which I request you to share. There are anarthas listed, the weeds. The weeds are listed, and one of the weeds is Kuti Nati. And maybe I think there's a second paragraph. Can you go down, please? There's a paragraph talking about Kuti Nati. Second or third, maybe where it is. Please go down. If you can find out, please read it. Yeah, somebody can please read those two sentences of Kuti Nati in this paragraph. You can read the full paragraph. It is good because it's talking about the anartha, the weeds. By practical example. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, please go ahead.
By his practical example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown us that all the grains of sand must be picked up thoroughly and thrown outside. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also cleans the outside of the temple, fearing that the grains of sand will again come within. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura explains that even though one may become free from the desire of fruitive activity, sometimes the subtle desire for fruitive activity again comes into being within the heart. One often thinks of conducting business to improve devotional activity, but the contamination is so strong that it may later develop into misunderstanding. Described as Kutinati, fault finding, and Pratishta and Pratishtha, the desire for name and fame and for high position. Jiva, Jiva, Himsa, envy of other living entities. Nishidachara, accepting things forbidden in the Shastra. Kama, desire for material gain, and puja, hankering for popularity. The word Kutinati means duplicity. As an example of
That's fine, Guru.
Pratishtha,
That's fine. That's fine. We have less time. Thank you very much. So, Kutinati or duplicity is listed as one of the weed, one of the anarthas. So, even if somebody stops fruitive activities externally, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Thakur said, the subtle part of fruitive activities can re-come in the heart as few other anarthas, and one of them is duplicity, kutinati. So somebody follows 4 regulative principles and stops doing activities to earn profit, but still the kutinati, duplicity, may come in the heart as part of our bhakti, and it can damage the seed of bhakti. So kutinati, duplicity, sometimes expressed as diplomacy, both are not good. Trying to be diplomatic so that people are happy in the way I speak to them and get my work done. Trying to be diplomatic with other Vaishnavas. So I am putting a proposal for my sense gratification, but they are looking forward to it as a pure devotional activity, and thus they are cooperating. And I am trying to gaining sense gratification out of their cooperation. That's actually not acceptable. Exploiting others, that's not acceptable. Engaging somebody, our subordinate or our colleague, in pure devotional service and trying to gain benefit out of that, that's not acceptable. So one should be very careful so that his offering is pure and Krishna is pleased. And in the community of devotees, I want to touch on a very important aspect, that if somebody we find having mithyachar behavior or duplicity, last time somebody asked the question also, what should we do? So as a community, we should understand, if my friend comes to me and I observe that he is inside is not equal to outside, he has some fallen situation or weakness of heart in struggling in his sadhana, but he's not expressing, his expression is such that everything is good, I am fine. We should know it may not be just his fault, it may be our fault. We should be a person that people are comfortable to speak their vulnerabilities, to share their weakness, to share their struggles, to share if privately they have fallen, and seek help. But if people don't have trust on us that this person will judge me, or this person will not keep it confidential, or this person will ridicule me, or this person will spoil my image and reputation, or he will take undue advantage of my private sharing and weakness, or he will in the future blackmail me, then people will not come and share their weaknesses. So they will keep a duplicit behavior that everything is fine with me. And if the whole community is like that, then nobody is perfect, everybody has faults, everybody is vulnerable, everybody is weak. So whole community, everybody keeps their struggle in their heart, everybody keeps their private problems in their heart. And when they meet, they say everything is fine, I am okay, you are okay, we all are okay. And the whole community is struggling. There is help available, but nobody is seeking help. There is help needed, but nobody is receiving help. And then we also are at a loss, because we can't approach that community with our struggles, and others are not approaching with their struggles, and everybody thinking everybody okay, but nobody is progressing in spiritual life. It's a stagnant community. Everybody is struggling and thinking, today I will overcome, today I will overcome, today I will overcome, and 20, 30 years are passing. We have seen leaders who couldn't express their struggles. They couldn't chant 16 rounds, but they sat on Vyasasana and spoke about chanting 16 rounds, or they gave Diksha and took a vow of their disciples to chant 16 rounds, but themselves they failed to chant, or they broke some regulative principle at the night, and morning they sat on Vyasasana and gave classes. And we have examples in ISKCON. This is a senior audience, so I am speaking that we need to have a community where somebody is having a struggle or a private situation, and he finds a friend who will not judge me, and he can come and speak, who will not ridicule me, who will not disappoint me, who will keep it confidential, who will give me needed help so that I grow. But if such friends are not available, then everybody has their own mistakes. And because they don't take help, they repeat the mistake. They every day do the same mistake over months and years. What happens? That mistakes become an habit. And over the years, that habit becomes so strong that they can't give up. And then a big problem happens. They become senior devotees. And senior devotees is difficult to correct because they will not like to be exposed about their mistakes to juniors or colleagues around. So then they continue that imperfection whole life. The very purpose we come to ISKCON is to improve in our character, is to become perfect devotee, is to improve in our behavior. That means there is some mistakes happening. That's why we are improving. But those mistakes I can't expose to others because I should appear to be perfect. So this very desire or this very situation in the community where everybody is appearing to be perfect and hence mistakes can't be discussed, faults can't be discussed, help cannot be provided, will choke up the growth of the entire community, even for sincere follower. So if somebody or many people are behaving like this in and around us, we should know it's not just their fault. It is our fault. It is my fault that I have not been a friend where I have provided good, safe space to my friend, to another devotee where they can come and share their problem and get help without being judged. Somebody didn't come for Mangala Arti and the reason he didn't come because he was lazy or he did oversleeping or alarm clock rang and he just turned it off and again went to sleep. It happens. But he can't tell this to anybody. So when he's asked, hey, you didn't come for Mangalati, what happened? Oh, I had a headache. Oh, I was not well. Oh, I had body pain. We have to do this. Somebody has to do this. So then he will continue like this in life. Where is his simplicity? I have seen examples of some devotees in the ashram who continue to sleep during Mangala Arti, keeping tablets in front of their pillow. If somebody comes and sees them sleeping, they will say, oh, tablet means he must have taken this tablet at night. He is not well. But he has not taken the tablet. He has only kept the tablet in front so that nobody judges him that he is lazy or he overslept. I'm not saying this behavior is acceptable. I'm saying this behavior and such behavior is arising out of the situation where there is no safe place for devotees to express their weakness and seek help. So if such a thing is happening in community, how will we grow? Our growth depends on others' growth. So we should be a person where we exemplify simplicity and we allow others a safe place where they can be their natural selves with anarthas, expressing and seeking help instead of being duplicit, expressing and seeking help so that they improve. In some organizations, they give less salary, so people make false bills of conveyance. They go in bus, but they give bill of taxi. And the owner knows this is false bill. But he doesn't address the issue because he thinks I am giving less salary, little bit money they are taking out of taxi, let me give. So what is happening is dishonesty is being encouraged day by day. Instead of saying, look, let's be honest, if you have more needs, we will talk about it. So somebody is giving false bill out of greed or somebody is giving false bill because he is needed but he is not being supplied. So he has to restore to cheating. Because he's helpless. He can't go and beg on the road. So if such things are being happening, then we are encouraging duplicity, we are encouraging dishonesty, we are encouraging lies. Oh, I know he speaks lies, but because he can't speak truth, he will be judged. So we need a community in mode of goodness. So people are free. I have a personal experience of one very senior Prabhupada disciple in Western body. He was speaking to me once, maybe a couple of months back, and he was speaking about a very serious situation in ISKCON. And while speaking, because he was concerned and is a very loyal person to ISKCON, he used some abusive words. In Western countries, they use these bad words, gali, what we call. And I was shocked to hear such language. Then he told me, Gokuleshwar, hope you will not report this. So I tell Prabhuji, don't worry, you are in safe place. And he told me, that's why I like to talk to you. I'm not promoting myself. I'm saying that I'm not judging him, but of course this language is unacceptable. But somehow it came out of his mouth, but he felt it safe. So devotee is something they have to express. Otherwise, if they cannot express anywhere, because they don't find it safe, they will develop frustration. And years after years of private fall down, they will develop guilt. And because they need help, but they are not receiving help, they will become weak. Their lack of confidence, their self-esteem will go down, and they will become angry and irritable. And when they become senior managers or leaders, then their juniors will suffer. We need to sort this out. So we need to be a person who is a good role model of simplicity, of frank and open behavior. Frank behavior means I can express my heart. Open behavior means I can hear others who are expressing without judging. Frank and open. Frank to speak and open to hear. People can approach me and speak their heart out. And we provide help so that everybody becomes a sincere, honest member of ISKCON. So I'll end up with the final paragraph. Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 4, Canto 4, chapter 21, verse 33. May I request to share? So this also will not read the full purport. There is a Prithu Maharaj's instruction on frank and open behavior. We'll just read that. Can somebody find out? Is it possible to find out? I should have a bigger. Yeah, can somebody read this paragraph?
I can read the whole paragraph.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The question may be raised that since the Lord is supposed to be worshipped by great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and others, how can an ordinary human being on this planet serve him? This is clearly explained by Prithu Maharaj by the use of the word yathadhikara, according to one's ability. If one sincerely executes his occupational duty, that will be sufficient. One does not need to become like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, Lord Chaitanya, or Ramanujacharya, whose capabilities are certainly far above ours. Even a Shudra, who is in the lowest stage of life according to the material qualities, can achieve the same success. Anyone can become successful in devotional service, provided he displays no duplicity. It is explained here that one must be very frank and open-minded, amayina. To be situated in a lower status of life is not a disqualification for success in devotional service. The only qualification is that whether one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, he must be open, frank, and free from reservations. Then by performing his particular occupational duty under the guidance of a proper spiritual master, he can achieve the highest success in life. As confirmed by the Lord himself, Striyu Vaishyas Tatha Shudras Te Piyanti Param Gatim. It does not matter what one is, whether a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or a degraded woman. If one engages himself seriously in devotional service, working with body, mind, and intelligence, he is sure to be successful in going back home, back to Godhead. The Lord's lotus feet are described here as Kama Duhagri Pankajam, because they have all the power to fulfill the desires of everyone. A devotee is happy even in this life because although in material existence we have many needs, all his material needs are satisfied. And when he at last quits his body, he goes back home, back to Godhead, without a doubt.
Okay, very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. So Prithu Maharaj is sharing this, is instructing to his citizens that whatever position you are in, be open and frank. Serve the Lord without duplicity. And Prabhupada writes, when devotees have material needs, when they are satisfied, and they continue to practice bhakti under the guidance of spiritual master, they go back to Godhead without any doubt. So devotional service, the process of bhakti is a science. Very carefully we have to nurture our heart and help others so that they practice bhakti at their stage of faith in a very simple way and please Krishna. Okay, we will end here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. If there are any comments, Prashanta Mataji, please, if you want to add something or any questions, we will take. Thank you.
Can I ask a question, Prabhu?
Yeah, please.
It's a practical question. So for somebody who wants to chant 64 rounds, it's something like looks imaginable to me right now, but do you have any practical suggestions, tips for people, like how to allocate your time? What's the best way to move yourself, to improve yourself towards that stage?
Okay, chanting 64 rounds, that's a very nice desire. And whenever I have tried it, my experience is it's best to do 16 rounds before Mangalarti. Say, wake up at 2:30. It works nicely. At least before Mangalarti 16 are done. Then after Mangalarti 16 is done. Then after class 16 is done. Then after breakfast, before lunch 16 is done. 64 is done by 11 or 12 p.m. But everybody may have different schedule. So you'll have to figure out your schedule. But early morning, as much as we do, that helps. So we grow gradually. Sometimes we chant 25, sometimes we chant 32, and then one fine day we do 64, and sometimes we keep doing it. So that's the practice, and it's nice desire, and sometimes we should try doing it. But individual schedule, everybody will have to make on their own because how they are managing their life and schedule. Generally, devotees do morning programs, so that's why this is the best way. I found somebody can do more than 16 before Mangalarti, that helps. And that's what I want to share on this.
Thanks, Prabhu. Just
Hare
to
Krishna.
it's okay, Mataji, go ahead.
Oh, did I answer your question or was it something else, Mataji?
No, you answered it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have a question. Say, suppose we have a desire to do a service, but at the same time, we know that we don't have this ability. So is it being duplicitous that not to take up the service?
Oh, okay. If I have a desire to perform service, say cooking or driving, but I don't know driving or I don't know cooking, then somebody who is already doing it, I should go and learn from that person. And once I learn and assist, then I can do that service properly. So it's not duplicit. But if I go and claim that I am the best, even though I don't know, that's not good. I am the best cook, I am the best driver, then I do accidents. So a particular desire is okay, and then sincerely going and learning that skill and ability and serving Krishna, that's the way to do. Is that okay, Mataji?
Thank you, Prabhu. But my question is, what if we, although we might desire, but we know that, we won't be able to do the service at all. So maybe
Your
I
voice
don't know
broke.
if I'm putting in the right way.
No, your voice broke. Can you come back?
I'm. Can you?
No, it's not audible.
Now can you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question, like I got your point, Prabhu, but my question still remains because I might have a desire to do a service because of the past conditioning, but still I know that I won't be able to do it nicely. So is it right to take up to such service or just drop it because knowing our inner ability?
Okay. Having a desire, nothing wrong about it. But if I don't know to do it properly and still I take it up, better not to take it up, because it will, if somebody's devotional service dependent on our service, it will damage their bhakti.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, there is a hand raised by Ambika Mataji. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Thank you. I wanted to ask, how about the situation where a devotee, for example, offers help to another devotee, for example, in terms of teaching some skill, you know, in devotional life or something like this? And does this, knowing that whenever this skill is used by that devotee who is taught, this devotee who has taught the skill will benefit spiritually? Is that duplicity?
Okay, teaching a skill to a candidate, knowing that the skill will benefit the candidate spiritually.
Knowing that the teacher himself will get the benefit.
Spiritual benefit.
Mhm.
I didn't get your point. So the teacher teaches to a candidate some skill.
Is motivated so that he gets some spiritual benefit for himself.
But he gives benefit to the student also by teaching, right?
Yes.
So that's not pure devotional service, that's mixed devotional service. That's fine. Eventually we have to come to the pure platform. So there's devotional service in mode of goodness, there's devotional service in mode of passion, there's devotional service in mode of ignorance, and there's pure devotional service. So getting a spiritual benefit out of devotional service is devotional mode of goodness. I mean, having a motive like that. And that's acceptable. But eventually one should grow and come to a platform of pure devotional service where one is giving out of loving affection to devotees and Krishna, not with a motive to receive anything.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, there is one more hand raise. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Sorry, I am seeing the hand raise, but I can't read the names properly. My mobile is not so big. So I don't know whoever.
Vaishnav Murari Prabhu, you were first in the list.
Yeah, please go ahead, Vaishnav Murari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. The last part of your lecture today was very nice, and I was wondering, that is valid for any relationship, not as a community and amongst devotee friends, but as a husband and wife also. You know, sometimes husband and wife do not share a good relationship because whenever they come up, whenever one of the partner comes up with some of their faults or shortcomings, the other person is, not taken in a good mood, and so the relationship spoils. So thank you for that. I just wanted to thank you for that part of your
Yeah, thank you. Please accept my humble obeisances also, Vaishnav Murari Prabhu or Vaishnav Prabhupada. Yeah, duplicity will spoil any relationship. I was highlighting because our audience, we are talking about community of Vaishnavas, and even marriage life, husband, wife. I mean, definitely, I don't have any experience, but yes, we should have a safe space there also.
We should be giving space to our spouse.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, next.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
In the last class, you were telling about a situation, like you gave us a small homework that if a terrorist is going, like he's running away, and if we are the police and we are trying to shoot him, but he covers himself with the national flag. So then in that situation, what we are supposed to do? So, but I couldn't find the answer. Could you please tell us what one should do and how that relates with this duplicity thing?
Oh, I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding us, Mataji. And if somebody has thought about it, let me hear. Somebody wants to share their thoughts. Any devotee wants to share? Yes, Hemanga Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Gokuleshwar Prabhu. That was from Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a question and not about the question that you gave an answer.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Prabhu.
Okay. I definitely agree with Vaishnav Rai Prabhu on the point that he raised. Yes, Prabhu. Your last point was very deep. And it is so important. With that mood, we can save ISKCON because there's challenges every step. However, my question was, Prabhu, when you have a desire, this is how I understood spirituality. If you have a desire, you intensify your desire. If the desire is to serve, you will intensify your desire and you'll make an endeavor and you'll wait for the mercy to flow. And when you surrender to the Lord within you will give you the empowerment to be able to accomplish that desire of yours. And all we have to do is to intensify our desire by two fingers, as mentioned. It depends on endeavor and mercy. Please comment on that, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's true. At the same time, we depend on community. Otherwise, there will be no fall downs. Just desire and intensifying their desire would suffice. Mama Maya Durataya. Krishna says, my Maya is very difficult to overcome. So we need to surrender to Krishna, and surrender to Krishna means surrender to spiritual master and the community of Vaishnavas. We are dependent on the community. We can't alone sit with our desire in a room and practice Krishna consciousness, thinking that I'll intensify my desire and manage. Now that is unacceptable. That is hallucination also. Without association of devotees, we can't progress. We need association of devotees. We have weaknesses and we need friends to help us to overcome those weaknesses. We need support. So the whole ISKCON society is created for support. Otherwise, only BBT, Prabhupada could have made only BBT, distribute books, people will read books, have desire to serve Krishna, sit in their homes. So what you're saying is correct. At the same time, there's a whole ecosystem, there's a whole community of Vaishnavas helping us to practice bhakti. And if a devotee needs help, rather than struggling alone, he can seek help from others when that opportunity is available. Hemang Chaitanya Prabhu, does that sound okay?
Yes, Prabhu, I understand that point. That's my point was not to isolate yourself and intensify desire. My point was, yes, I agree with what you're saying. My point was intensify your desire while wanting and trying to associate and serve. In the previous question that was raised, where a devotee had asked if he could intensify, if you have a desire to do some service and they feel not in a position to or not being qualified to do. So it was a comment or a query with regards to that point.
Okay. I thought you were responding to this community thing, which Vaishnav Murari Prabhu said. Yes, so your responding is that if you have a desire but not have an ability, you intensify your desire and Krishna will empower you.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, that's right. Prabhu.
That's very nice. Thank you very much. Okay, next.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the nice class. And we can sometimes, I just have a small observation and comment, and I would like to get your point of view on this. We live in a community, but actually I feel in my personal experience that what helps me the most is actually having good devotee friends. Because the community at large is multifarious. It has so many different personalities and so many different opinions and so many different faults and good qualities as well. So at least if we can sort of have our own, not that we become sectarian, but we have at least a few friends who knows us and who understands us and who we have a deep affectionate relationship with, then we can practice this principle of revealing our mind, which is very essential principle according to Rupa Goswami, which is the principle of Guhyamakhya DUPLICITY. And in my own personal experience, and like to get your comment on this, I felt that this was the one thing that helped me the most sometimes the deepest, darkest secrets in our heart, and we all have, I mean, at least I have, is I can just call up my friends and we can meet, and I said, you know, it is like this with me, it is like that with me, it is this way and it is that way. And, you know, I couldn't, you know, do this, and I couldn't chant my rounds this way, and I can chant my rounds that way, or whatever, you know. And this I felt was turning point in my spiritual life, that I finally have friends who I can confide with. And therefore, because without talking about these deep, unpalatable things in our heart to some devotees, I feel we can never get rid of them. And this is the principle of Goyam Akyati Prichati. Goyam is contained in the cave of the heart, and you cannot bring it out, because how do you bring it out in a community of devotees? But you can bring it out with your friends. This is my humble submission to you. Please comment. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. And this is very nice to hear that you have gone through such relationships among friends. And yeah, if we have some few friends where we can share our heart and they can share theirs, that will work. And eventually, dark secrets do come out in the community today or tomorrow. And in some communities, they do come out. So the community also should be capable to handle it in such a way that the devotee, like Srila Prabhupada's time, one Prabhupada disciple, sannyasi, he fell down. So when the news reached Prabhupada, it was already known to other devotees. So Prabhupada chastised his secretary, saying that why others have to know about this? You made it difficult for him to come back. So Prabhupada was hoping to meet him, rectify the situation and get him back. But you made it difficult because others came to him. So if the whole community responds the way friends are responding, we'll have a better situation. But I agree with you. Sometimes the community is not capable enough to respond to that. And friends respond in a better way. And so wherever we seek help, wherever we get help, that's fine. Thank you, Prabhu, for bringing.
Yeah, if I may add, my point was only because I've seen that even very, very senior devotees who have friends, and I will not mention names, and they are very senior devotees, like you were talking about gurus. I mean, I have had 2 fallen gurus. So I have had some exposure to this kind of situation. And I find that even very, very senior devotees who have friends, you know, and I felt like in my life, it was a turning point when I started having friends in devotional circles. I mean, devotee friends whom I can really sit down and have an open heart talk, you know, about our situations, about desires, about good things and bad things. Then I think that's very important, having good circle of friends in Krishna consciousness, because, you know, I have served in many situations and services, and I feel like sometimes you may be living in a temple, and I was temple president at some point, and even in the temple, the devotees are not able to, it's a close family, and you have a brahmachari ashram, and you have grihastha serving, and you have ladies serving, and there was so much duplicity and so much, you know, lack of frankness and openness, is because that is not encouraged so much. But I have seen very, very senior devotees, those who have friends among themselves. They may be our GBCs, they may be our gurus, they may be our sannyasis, but those who are friends, they do much better than those who are just simply isolated and being a very senior member of the community. That was my point. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Advait Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much. Yeah. Do we have any other question? I see 2 hand raised. Next, anybody else wants to share or ask?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I thought about that question last week. I wanted to speak on that, if you allow.
Go ahead.
That was a very tricky question indeed. But since you asked that question in between the topic of duplicity, so I could think of it. So in one situation, that person is a terrorist. So he is against the nation. He is not conducive for our nation. But when at a point he is threatened to be killed, he covers himself with the national flag. So that is his duplicit behavior. So in that case, I will shoot him, though we are not allowed to shoot on a national flag. That was my thought about it.
Yeah, okay, Vaishnav Rai Prabhu, thank you. My answer is I will shoot him twice. One for being a terrorist, one for being duplicit and using nationality to cover himself. So my point was, when I made that question, is that duplicity is also a fault. There is one fault. To cover that fault, you are making another fault. There's duplicity. So being terrorist is not good. And covering yourself under nationality, that's another sinful activity, another fault. So it's 1 + 1. So one mistake I do, done. I get a reaction. But now I do be duplicit to cover that mistake and show I didn't do a mistake or I'm better off. Then I did 1 + 1, 2 wrong. So I get reaction for both. Is that okay? All the devotees.
That was wonderful, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay, time to end. Do we have any more comments or questions?
Will there be a third session?
Oh, no. Done.
Hare Krishna, everyone. No, there won't be a
Third session is to implement it whole life. Sorry, Mataji, go ahead.
We have 2 sessions per topic. There will be more sessions, but on different topics. I think we had a wonderful the overview of the topic of duplicity over these 2 classes. And thank you so much, Gokuleshwar Prabhu, today for bringing the whole topic into the issue of community growth and the fact that we should not blame people that are found to be duplicitous, but we should grow into such responsible Vaishnavas that by our own behavior of inviting others to speak in confidence, we should become an instrument and to put an end to duplicity in communities. So this was a very wonderful point and a very deep point. And as you see, everybody appreciated that. So this is the very purpose of these classes, that we reform ourselves and we become better members of the Hare Krishna movement. I was reading yesterday, and Prabhupada was saying that the development of all the qualities and the annihilation of all the dirt in the heart is very much what we are about. We are not about ringing the bell and doing artis. We are about a change of consciousness. So thank you so much, Gokuleshwar Prabhu, for discussing so nicely this topic, which is actually a difficult topic, and putting the stress on sincerity. So we hope to see you again. We hope to hear more from you.
Yeah, sure.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gokuleshwar Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mata.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prashanta Mata, for arranging such classes.
Hare Krishna.